Oh man, where the people at, man? Tap on in. Golly, man. Whoa, what's up, man? Let me read some of y'all comments. What it do, Scoop? He said, Red, did you hear? They're gonna start spitting in our food for supporting Carmelo and Target selling minstrel shows, Halloween costumes using black kids. Hey man, we gotta be on high alert. We gotta be up on game and ready for all this stuff, man. Oh man, what's up with my people, man? Where y'all at? The real ones rock with King Supreme, right? Because I don't hold no punches. I come from every angle with it, right? Sometimes I got to give us some smoke to make us do better, right? But the smoke that I give our people is necessary. I do it out of love because I want us to do better. But one thing that I'm never going to do is go against my people to appease white folks in order to get money from that community, to get money from the YT community. I'm not going to do that. I could spank my people, but you can't do it. And you understand the mentality is like you spank your little brother, but you ain't gonna let nobody else do it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna let nobody else do it. Right? Hit the like button if you haven't already. The game is heavy. Now check this out. The Angry Man did a podcast, right? Or maybe he uploaded a video. Maybe he cut it out of the damn podcast and just uploaded it to his videos. But he said that Carmelo should have got more than 30 years. Are you guys surprised that the Angry Man would say that? Angry Man said that Carmelo should have got more than 30 years. And why did he say that? Well, he said it because, Carmelo sent out these text messages saying that he wanted to, you know what I mean, lick the blood off of his shank. And with that being said, that makes it premeditated. So, in the words of the Angry Man, Carmelo should have got more than 30 years. Right? Now, Casey Allison, the white boy. Now, when Carmelo said he wanted to do all that, he wasn't specific about who he wanted to do that to. I think he was just talking, running his mouth and saying too much. But he never dropped any names when it came to who he wanted to do that to. Now, Casey Allison, the white boy Casey Allison, it happened in the state of Texas. Casey Allison said that he wanted to put Jose Ramirez on life support prior to the homicide. So if that's not premeditated, I don't know what is. Casey Allison got 10 years for a premeditated homicide. And there's text messages to prove that he said all of these things prior to him unaliving Jose Ramirez in Texas. I believe it was Belton, Texas. Something would it be? I forget the name of the town that it happened in. But Casey Allison, the white boy, took a knife to school and unalived Jose Ramirez inside of the bathroom during school. While everybody was in their classroom, he was in a bathroom poking up, using his weapon to unalive Jose Ramirez. It happened in the good old state of Texas. So you can't make the argument, well, different state, different rules. Nope, it was the same state. So let's set the record straight. Casey Allison told everybody he wanted to put Jose Ramirez. He wasn't just talking like he just wanted to do this to a random person. He said this specifically, that he wanted to put Jose Ramirez on life support. So when Casey Allison took that knife to school, he anticipated an altercation. That's why he took the knife to school in the first place. And then he analyzed the same guy that he said that he analyzed the same guy that he told everybody he wanted to put on life support a couple of weeks prior. So this is the reality. Casey Allison followed through with his plans. He said that he wanted to he was very specific about who he wanted to attack. He was very specific about who he wanted to put on life support, and that was Jose Ramirez. We have text messages to prove it. So why is it that the lily white boy, Casey Allison in the state of Texas, gets 10 years for a premeditated homicide? I think we all know he's a white guy. He's a white kid. They're going to do everything in their power to protect him at all costs. Casey Allison was sentenced to 10 years. He'll be home in 5. And keep in mind, he was sentenced 10 years for a premeditated homicide that happened in a good old state of Texas. Let's set the record straight with that. Hit the like button, man. Man, it's crazy, huh? Anyway, let's see what our brother Tariq Nasheed had to say about this Carmelo Anthony case. But yeah, the angry man said that Carmelo should have got way more than 30 years. Now, it's mighty funny that angry man never said anything about Casey Allison. He never said anything about white culture. He never said anything about white supremacists and white culture are to blame for people like Casey Allison. He never said such a word. But he did say that black culture was responsible for Carmelo Anthony unaliving Austin Metcalf. He said, what he said was Carmelo Anthony's actions is a reflection of the black community and how violent it is. The words of the angry man. So angry man felt like Carmelo should have got more than 30 years. And you tell me he ain't a buck broken tap dancer. You tell me that he ain't a certified Sambo.
Hey, the judge, the new assigned judge in the Carmelo case, he emailed his ruling, and I knew it was going to be, we knew what that was going to be when he said he was going to email the ruling. When he said he was going to email his ruling, I said, oh, yeah, they're not going to have a new case. So he emailed his ruling, and they are not doing a new case. They're not doing a new case. This is what the judge said, ladies and gentlemen. He was very vague about it too. They were very, very vague about his ruling. He didn't elaborate at all. He was like, yes, I decided that there's not going to be, the motion for the new trial is denied. Just real vague. Didn't give a reason, nothing. Didn't give a reason or anything like that. Just real to the point, real basic. Now, there's some speculation because this judge was so vague about it. Because he was so vague, many people are speculating what his motives were to deny a new trial. Was he protecting the optics of that little gentleman's agreement that was popping off between the prosecutor and the defense, the initial defense? See, during the trial, there was this so-called gentleman's agreement to keep out certain character evidence about Carmelo and Austin Metcalf. So prosecutors said that this was to keep things from getting inflamed, knowing that Metcalf had a long history of being a suspected white supremacist, spraying racist spray paint and all this stuff. So that was part of that little janky agreement. Also, some people are like, well, this judge, this is a Texas judge. Does he want to maintain that conviction quota? So in that system, see, a conviction is a win for the district attorney and that broader apparatus. Carmelo got that 35-year sentence, so a judge overturning that and declaring a new trial, that makes the original trial judge, John Roach, who publicly said the jury got it right, that makes him look incompetent, and that disrupts the system's win column. Y'all hold on one second. My staff.
If that judge would have gave Carmelo Anthony a new trial, the white community would have put his feet to the fire. They would have held that white man accountable for being off code. How dare you get this black boy a brand new trial? That white man would be in trouble if he granted Carmelo Anthony a new trial. Just imagine all the smoke he would have got from his own community for his own white people if he would have did that. One thing about white people is this: they understand staying on code. Prime example of that would be Chud the Builder was going around stalking, harassing people, and using racial slurs. Guess what? The white community still supported him, regardless of him being guilty, regardless of the fact that he's a racist piece of crap. The white community still raised $1 million for his legal defense. Why? Because the white community is on code with their people, even when they're dead wrong. Same thing with Shiloh Hendricks. She called a black child an N-word. Guess what? White people understand the importance of staying on code. So it didn't matter that she was dead wrong. It didn't matter that she's a racist piece of crap. The white community still raised $1 million for her situation. So it proves everything that I'm saying. Even when white people are dead wrong, they're going to stand next to each other. They're going to stand by each other. White people got a code, and they've been operating from that code for centuries in this country. This is nothing new. Why do you think so many white people have gotten away with unaliving us? They justified Trayvon Martin. They justified George Zimmerman unaliving Trayvon Martin. White people still supported that, right? Daniel Penny, they supported what he did. The white community got behind him. White people gonna stand behind their folks regardless of how wrong they are.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. There's something happening down at the museum right now. There's a lot of people down there, and they're trying to find some USB cords or something. But again, a lot of people are speculating as to what this judge was thinking, why this.
They justified Sandra Bland's unaliving. They justified the white cop unaliving that black lady in her kitchen. Every time a white person unalives somebody black, white people justify it and they support that person financially. They raise millions for their legal defense. What is it going to take for black people to wake up? And to all you black conservatives that be caping for these white people, let me tell you something, angry man. Let me tell you something, Officer Tatum. If a white person harmed any one of you guys, those same white people that be in your comment section supporting you would throw your ass under the bus to support their good old white brothers for unaliving you or for harming you. Don't think for 1 second that these white folks are on your side. They pretend like they're on your side because you're denigrating your people. Anytime you're denigrating your people, they're going to support that 100%. Look at the Brandon Jamal dude co-signing Jake Lane. If Brandon Jamal says something negative about the white community, Jake Lane ain't gonna make one video agreeing and co-signing what he said. The only time white people want to co-sign something that a black person said about their community is when it's something positive. You can say something about white people that's 100. You can say something about white folks that's 100% correct. If it paints them in a negative light, they're gonna say no, that's not true. That's a fact. So I don't know what. Well, I do know why these black conservatives are doing it for the money. Anytime, this is what they better hope. They better hope that they don't ever get into it with a white person and that situation becomes violent, because those same white people that you think care about you, they're gonna flip on you. They're gonna flip everything around and support the white person that harmed you, or they're gonna support the victim that you harmed and say that you were dead wrong for harming that white person, even if your actions were 100% justified. But see, these black Sambos don't anticipate it. They don't anticipate themselves getting into an altercation with a white person. As long as those white people are giving them views, as long as those white people get in their comments to boost them in the algorithm, that's all they care about. These people got enough common sense to know if they got into an altercation with a white person, those same white fans are going to support that white person over them. They got enough common sense to understand that. But they are willing to sell out for the views. They're willing to sell out for the money. They're willing to sell out to get boosted in the algorithm. They got enough common sense to understand everything that I'm saying. But as long as they're making views, as long as they're getting views and making the money, then they'll regurgitate white supremacist talking points all day, as long as they get boosted in the algorithm, as long as they can make money. That's all they give a damn about at the end of the day.
Judge made his ruling to he decided to deny a new trial. Now, was this a fear of YT backlash? Again, this case is full of racial overtones. It's gained national attention. This is a racialized trial and case. So if this YT judge were to grant a new trial for a black teenager convicting of unaliving a white male, the dominant society, he's going to be on the outs. They're going to look at him as like getting off code. So he's going to get backlash from his own community. That's going to be swift and loud. I understand these judges are political figures. So, they'll make decisions to appease their community. You got to stay on code. He wants to be still invited to the supper clubs and the golfing events and all that stuff. And also many people speculate that this judge could have been on this denial of a new trial to validate the double standards in self-defense laws. See, when Black Americans claim self-defense, it's rarely respected by the system the same way it's respected for others. Carmelo's defense was that he was defending himself during the confrontation. Now, if the judge grants a new trial and acknowledges that the original trial might have compromised his ability to testify to that self-defense, well, that sets a precedent. And the system, they prefer to maintain the standard where Black self-defense is immediately dismissed as aggression. And also, this judge might have just wanted to uphold the trial judge's authority. Yeah, see, the new legal team argued that the original trial judge, Judge Roach, had rules that were way too strict and too limited. It limited public access. So this judge, Judge Chitty, if he granted a new trial based on Roach's conduct, low-key, that could have undermined a fellow judge, even though he dismissed him from the case altogether.
That white woman unalived 3 of her children. You're not going to hear white people saying this is a reflection of the white community. This is how violent white people are. You know what they're going to say? This woman was mentally challenged and didn't take her medication that day. When Dylan Roof shot up that church in Charleston, South Carolina, they made excuses, a million of them. Oh, well, he was mentally challenged. He didn't take his medication that day. This is no reflection of the white community. Now, when a Black person commits a crime, the first thing they say is it's a direct reflection of the Black community, right? The whole Black community goes on trial when a Black person commits a crime. A white person commits a crime. Oh, they were mentally challenged. Oh, this was a lone wolf. Oh, this is no reflection of the white community. You see the excuses that they make for white people? One Negro commits a crime, the whole Black community got to go on trial for it. Oh, this is what's wrong with Black culture. All Black parents are failures. All Black people are teaching their children to be violent. You got to hear all that nonsense every time a Negro commits a crime.
And understand, sometimes the legal system operates like a fraternity. They cover for each other, and they'll stay on code with each other. And that means don't publicly embarrass one of your own, you see. So a lot of people feel a certain way about the decision, but we got to look at it from another side. Let's look at it from another side, family. Actually, the defense, Carmelo's team, family, they could have been doing a chess move. Listen what I'm saying. I want y'all to follow me. Actually, when we start looking at a lot of things, this could actually be a chess move from Carmelo's defense team. All right? I want y'all to follow me on this. Oh, yeah, because they're going to still file the appeal. They're still working on the appeal. Understand something. Now, the defense team, they kind of knew that these judges might stay on their little code with each other, whatever. But the goal, what it seems like, was to force an evidentiary hearing. So what they did with this situation, they got the prosecutor and all these people to go on record to talk about these little shady backroom deals they were doing. That's very important. So by doing that, they legally cornered the original prosecutor, that Bill Worski guy, and the defense attorney, the former defense.
Yeah. Tariq Nasheed is breaking a lot of this stuff down. Shout out to the brother.
defense attorney Mike Howard. So they forced them both to take the witness stand under oath. So now all of their little dirty tactics.
It's funny when white people call somebody a racist when they're the ones who created racism in this country. They created racism globally, right? White tea people are the last group of people that need to point the finger and cry about racism. They're the ones, they're responsible for the racism that we have in this country. Imagine the same group of people who created racism and division in this country. Imagine them pointing the finger at somebody else and calling them racist. That's laughable. You are the creators, the inventors of racism in this country. White tea people
are now permanently documented in the court transcripts. And that's gold, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's 24 karat gold.
Nobody has committed more heinous crimes in this country than a white tea man. Nobody has committed more heinous crimes globally than a white tea man. What black people do in this country can't even compare to the history of unalivings and savagery and brutality. Black people crimes can't compare to the long history of the white tea community's brutality and savage behavior. What black people do today can't even compare to what your people have done historically.
When they go to the appeals court. So this denial, that wasn't necessarily a loss, ladies and gentlemen. This might be a blessing in disguise. You see, it might be a little tactical sacrifice to secure the ammunition needed for the appeal. Again, like I said, what they really did in this situation.
This white woman unalived 3 of her children. Is the white community going to hold that L? No, they're not. They're going to say she was mentally challenged. She's a lone wolf. And what she did is no reflection of the white community. Now, if a black person would have did the same thing, they would have said mental health issues. That's what's wrong with the black community. They're ghetto and violent. This is a prime example. The whole black community would be on trial if Keisha would have did this to her 3 kids. I'm going to say it again. The whole black community would have been on trial if Keisha would have did this, if she would have did to that, if she would have did the same thing to 3 of her children like that white woman did. White woman unalived 3 of her children. Oh, she was mentally challenged. Oh, she wasn't in her right mind. No, this is no reflection of the white community. She had mental health issues. Yeah.
Was exposed, Worski guy, and the defense attorney, the former defense attorney, Mike Howard. So they forced them both to take the witness stand under oath. So now all of their little dirty tactics are now permanently documented in the court transcripts. And that's gold, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's 24 karat gold. When they go to the appeals court.
White tea people are supporting Lindsay. They are supporting Lindsay Clancy. They're giving that woman their full support. They're not going to fix their mouth to say that she's a prime example of what's wrong with the white community. They'll never fix their mouths to say that. Every time a white person commits a heinous crime, they make millions of excuses to protect that white person's character or to protect the character of the white tea community as a whole. Prime example. She unalived 3 of her children, and the white tea community are giving their full support to this psychotic woman.
So this denial, that wasn't necessarily a loss, ladies and gentlemen. This might be a blessing in disguise. You see, it might be a little tactical sacrifice to secure the ammunition needed for the appeal. Again, like I said, what they really did in this situation was expose the shadow docket confessions on record. See, before the hearing that just happened, the defense couldn't legally prove that the original trial was rigged behind closed doors. Now they got sworn testimony from the state's own prosecutor admitting to this gentleman's agreement that was never put in writing. So now the defense can take this directly to the appellate court and prove that the trial wasn't decided in front of a jury, but it was orchestrated in a back room.
Mm.
And the appellate court, they cannot ignore sworn admissions of an off-the-record shadow docket. All right? And under oath, these lawyers admitted that they colluded to hide Austin Metcalf's history of bullying black students and using them damn racial slurs. And they justified this by claiming they wanted to turn the temperature down and all that stuff. So now this new legal team, they can argue on appeal that the court actively suppressed evidence of a damn suspected white supremacist and his aggression to protect the image of him. So then by hiding Metcalf's racist history, the state deliberately handicapped a black man's right to establish a credible fear for his life in a self-defense claim. Man, they better use all this stuff and use it to their advantage. And they have to lock in on the blatant Sixth Amendment violation under the U.S. Constitution. See, they guarantee a fair and public trial. Public is the key word, public. That's in the Constitution. During the hearing, the new defense, they got it on record that Judge Roach, he violated the Waller standards by issuing this gag order, banning live streaming, kicking out the public out of the courtroom, and limiting a few dozen pre-selected seats. So the appellate court, they look specifically for this procedural and constitutional error that happens in cases like this. So having the state admit under oath that they ran this little closed door, secretive little weird trial, that gives the defense a silver bullet for reversal. And also proving ineffective assistance of counsel. See, an appeal also hinges on whether or not the defense had adequate legal representation. Man, go look at the tweets. I was talking about that damn defense attorney that Carmelo had. He was trash, trash, trash.
Yeah, hit the like button, man. I need all my black people. I need all my black people, all my real supporters to bless that like button. We got a whole lot of haters. We got a whole lot of them. Some of them are even black. So if you're really rocking with the platform, do us a favor by blessing that damn like button.
Dude, that guy was trash. I'm like, this dude is damn near trying to lose this case. He was so damn trash. That gives the defense a silver bullet for reversal. And also proving ineffective assistance of counsel. See, an appeal also hinges on...
Well, they're saying Carmelo said he wanted to lick the blood off of the knife and this and that, and he wanted to do this. Well, Austin said that he wanted to unalive all black people, and he said that he represents the KKK. He wanted to bring a gun to school. Casey Allison specifically, he said, this is what Casey Allison said. He said, I want to put Jose Ramirez on life support. He said that about Jose Ramirez prior to him unaliving Jose, right? And for some reason, he only gets 10 years for premeditated murder. And he told everybody, he didn't say that he just wanted to harm somebody random. Casey Allison said this specifically, I want to put Jose Ramirez on life support. And weeks later, he executed the game plan. He took a knife to school and stabbed Jose several times inside of the bathroom. Clearly, that was premeditated murder. Why did Casey Allison bring a knife to school? Because he anticipated an altercation with Jose Ramirez. He anticipated that altercation before he unalived Jose. We have the text messages to prove it. This is not hearsay. This is not a rumor. So in other words, to make a long story short, Casey Allison only got 10 years for a premeditated homicide in the state of Texas, on top of all of that.
Whether or not the defense had adequate legal representation. Man, go look at the tweets. I was talking about that damn defense attorney that Carmelo had. He was trash, trash, trash. Dude, that guy was trash. I'm like, this dude is damn near trying to lose this case. He was so damn trash. I was saying this even before the first verdict. I'm like, man, this lawyer is fucking up majorly. What's up with this damn lawyer? So now they got him on the stand and basically admitted that he compromised his own client to appease the good old boy network. So now these new lawyers, boy, they got official transcripts showing the original defense agreed to a strategy to prevent them from calling expert witnesses on Carmelo and his adolescent brain development and epilepsy and things like that, because all of that should have been brought in. Because I was talking about that before, how Carmelo has epilepsy. If somebody's socking on him and beating on him, this guy could have just he could have been unalive. So he had to defend himself.
Now, I'm going to show a video where they're going to talk about, in 2 more minutes, I just wanted to get Tariq Nasheed's breakdown. I wanted to hear things from Brother Tariq's perspective. Then we're going to get into the past crimes of Carmelo and Austin Metcalf before we get into the video that the angry man dropped yesterday.
So they cover
the likes are free. I don't know why y'all slacking on y'all Mac, and the likes are free. The likes are free. They don't cost you money.
But all this stuff up to honor this little unwritten deal with the prosecutor. So this proves that Carmelo was legally abandoned by the people paid to protect him. You see? And also that 11th hour sabotage of Carmelo's testimony. See, the crucial part of any self-defense case is the defendant telling their own story. And the new testimony, they revealed that because the state broke their little secret deal at the very last minute, Carmelo was given only 10 minutes to decide whether or not he was going to take the stand. And ultimately he didn't. And the defense was reduced to asking his mother 3 pre-approved questions. So the new lawyers, they're going to show this and say, hey, they're going to go to the appellate court and say that the prosecution maliciously cornered a teenager, stripping away all of his fundamental rights to testify on his own behalf. You see? And the Collins County District Attorney's Office, they put out a statement citing they acted ethically and they ran a clean trial and all that nonsense. Their sworn admissions from this hearing, it dismantles that whole narrative. So on appeal, credibility is everything. So this new legal team, they're going to have to use these transcripts to demonstrate that the higher courts, that these prosecutors engaged in willful manipulation and evidence suppression so they can get a conviction quota against a young black man. So if they go in here correctly, ladies and gentlemen, they can possibly get the whole case overturned. They can get the conviction overturned if they correctly go in there and just whoop ass with it. So hopefully that's what they get to do. Hopefully they just get the shit overturned altogether instead of a new trial. Just get this thing thrown out.
I mean, that's wishful thinking, and hopefully they could, right? But I don't know, man. I think these white people are going to pull some strings to keep Carmelo in prison. The last thing that white people want to see is this guy go free on a self-defense charge. I mean, on a self-defense claim. My bad.
So hopefully they're on their game. Hopefully they're on their game. Somebody said, can y'all hear me? Somebody said they're having difficulty.
Now, I want y'all to hear what the Sambo Angry Man had said, and then we're gonna move around. This is the Angry Man.
There's only one problem. Austin Metcalf is not on trial. Metcalf ain't here no more.
Metcalf also got
so now I'm gonna hear Angry Man defending Austin Metcalf. Now he tries to say little things here and there to make it seem like he's not, but that's exactly what he's doing, defending Austin and saying that Carmelo Anthony should have got more than 30 years. Not my words, words of the Angry Man. Let's get to it.
Suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day. Now, prosecutors, meanwhile, have a 75-page document on Carmelo Anthony's background, which they plan to present to the court tomorrow. In that report, they mentioned that Carmelo Anthony, on the morning before the stabbing, sent out a text saying he's low-key on the verge, which was a sign they say that he was easily triggered. Also, that his girlfriend had gone to their school principal and said that he had been stalking her and was asking for help. Again, all of this information is coming from extractions from cell phones, school records, and police reports. We'll have much more on this coming up tonight at 10. In McKinney, J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
What did y'all notice about that? Did y'all notice anything strange about that? Like there was a 20-page background report on Austin They made sure to comb through it and find every little thing that made him look bad. And then at the end of that, they mentioned that Carmelo had a 75-page report and then said, oh, he sent a text message that morning saying that he was on the verge. But they left out the part where he said he was going to stab somebody and lick the blood off of the knife. They conveniently left that part out. So there's only one problem with this. Now, if you say you have a report that shows that Austin and his brother were racist and they sprayed KKK and they used the N-word and they did all of these different things, right? It's like,
oh, but you conveniently left out the part that they said that they wanted to unalive all black people. Not only did Austin and Hunter Metcalf spray paint and say they're the KKK, they also said that they wanted to unalive all black people. But it's mighty funny that Angry Man left that part out. He didn't add that part right there. That's the knockout blow. They said that they wanted to unalive all black people and they represent the KKK. But Angry Man is not going to tell that part.
okay, cool. There's only one problem. Austin Metcalf is not on trial. Austin Metcalf ain't here no more. So why is the news left out the part where he said he was going to stab somebody and lick the blood off of the knife? They conveniently left that part out. So there's only one problem with this. Now, if you say you have a report that shows that Austin and his brother were racist and they sprayed KKK and they used the N-word and they did all of these different things, right? It's like, okay, cool. There's only one problem. Austin Metcalf is not on trial. Austin Metcalf ain't here no more. So why is the news doing a full expose on everything that he did? And by the way, to all of the black folk out here in the community, I need you to keep that same energy that you had when they started combing through George Floyd's history. Because if I remember correctly, your mentality is that when someone is a victim, you don't go through their history to try to justify them losing their life. If I remember correctly, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. To all of the black folk that are in here right now, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, here's the difference, Angry Man. White people got a long history of unaliving black people. And then to justify why they did it, they'll demonize the black person's character, right? But we don't have a long history. Like, you never seen black people in authority unaliving black people, unjustified. Show me black people that's in positions of authority, like black people who work for law enforcement. Show me the long history of black people that's in positions of power, black people of authority. Show me black people like that, unaliving white people and getting away with it in large numbers. So that's a false equivalence, Angry Man. White people don't have the same history that we have in this country, but we do have white people in high places and higher powers, white people who work for law enforcement. There's a long history of them unaliving black people, getting away with it, and they'll use the black person's past criminal record to justify the unaliving. That's a false equivalence. Black people of authority don't have the same history of unaliving innocent white people. So false equivalence. What he's trying to do is say, well, if y'all gonna say it was wrong to bring up George Floyd's record, then it's wrong to bring up Austin Metcalf's record. I told you the angry woman is a certified Sambo. I told you he is 100%. He's going to do everything in his power to defend white folks while pretending like he's not doing that at the same time. When it's clear to see that's exactly what he's doing. He's defending the honor of Austin Metcalf, and he's defending the hypocrisy and long history of racism. Well, he's defending white people's long history of racism while pretending like he's not doing that. That's exactly what he's doing. Well, if you guys say it's wrong to bring up George Floyd's past, then it's wrong to bring up Austin Metcalf's past. Angry Man, black and white people don't have the same history in this country. It's not even comparable. So all you black people that listen to this dude, something is wrong with y'all, man. Something is seriously wrong with y'all if you listen to this clown and take him serious. He's a certified clown. He might as well put on a red wig and a red nose with some red shoes. Doing all that damn tap dancing over there, boy.
If I remember correctly, in the community, we do not believe in combing through the history of the victim to give people ammunition or justification in that person's death. Why are they even talking about Austin Metcalf's history? Because if those of you that are going to say, well, he was a racist, angry man, okay, and he obviously paid for that with his life. See, that's not what we're dealing with right now. He could have been the most staunch racist. And those actions, if he was a racist, because I don't know if that freaking report is true, but if it is,
Well, now he's saying we don't know if the report about Austin Metcalf is true, but then he uses the claims of Carmelo Anthony and the so-called text messages that he sent. He's saying that is 100% accurate. Not the ones that he questioned if Carmelo Anthony really said that. But when it comes to Austin Metcalf, we have to question if it's even true or not. You see how hard Angry Man goes in the paint to defend white folks? This is why I look at you black people who support this clown like, man, what's wrong with y'all? So we have to question whether that's true or not when it comes to what Austin did. But when they say, but the accusations, when they say Carmelo Anthony sent these messages and he said this, well, not once did he question it. He said it was 100% accurate. He never said maybe it's true or maybe it's not. He took everything they said about Carmelo Anthony for face value. But when it comes to Austin Metcalf, well, we really don't even know if it's true. Look at this Sambo, man.
Dealing with right now. He could have been the most staunch racist. And those actions, if he was a racist, because I don't know if that freaking report is true. But if it is, I really don't care either way. If it is, right, let's just be honest about it. If that report is true, all of them things he did led up to what happened. It's kind of hard. See, in my opinion, it's kind of hard to condemn somebody that's already gone. You feel me? They're already gone. What's the point? What's the point of condemning them again if they're already gone? Right? But when you look at Carmelo, he's still here. And so while some of you will say, well, okay, fine, angry man, you're saying Austin paid for his racism or whatever it was he did. Exactly. And what you're doing right now is you're trying to double condemn Austin for whatever when he's the actual victim, while you're simultaneously trying to exonerate Carmelo. And like I said when I was watching Will's show earlier today or yesterday, and I super chatted, I said I'm willing to bet the farm now that I've seen these text messages where Carmelo was stalking his Latina girlfriend and telling her, I'm on the verge of doing something messed up and I'm going to stab somebody and this, that, and the third. I am willing to bet the farm that there is some kind of connection between Austin Metcalf or those two brothers and Carmelo's girlfriend. I am willing to bet you any amount of money. There's some kind of connection. Either Austin or his brother used to talk to her or was gonna talk to her. Or maybe the girlfriend said something to Carmelo about Austin, that he was a great football player or something. Who knows? But I'm willing to bet you any amount of money that there is some kind of connection there. I'm willing to bet any amount of money. Now, some of y'all gonna say, but they went to different schools. That don't matter. When I was in high school, I talked to girls from other schools, and I know girls that talk to dudes from other schools, because that's That's how you see people from other schools, is when you go to track meets and football games and basketball games and stuff like that. But I'm willing to bet you any amount of money. I'm willing to bet any amount of money that there's some connection. See, there's a whole lot. See, now that we done seen, now that they done came out with this 20-page report on Austin saying that he spray painted KKK, used the N-word, was doing all this wild stuff, him and his brother. And the 75-page report on Carmelo and all the wild stuff he's doing. All it lets me know is that there are details to this case that they not releasing. There's more to this case than they want to say. And I'm willing to bet you any amount of money that if they did know that there's a connection between Austin and Carmelo's girlfriend, they are not going to release that to the public. They don't want nobody to know that, because if that were to come out, it would make sense why Carmelo went to that tent out of all of the tents that was out there. It would make sense why he sat there. It would make sense why when they asked him to leave 15 times, he didn't go anywhere. It would make sense why all of that was going on. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe it could have been anybody under that tent that had some connection to Carmelo's girlfriend. It could have been anybody. It could have been the brother. It could have been the brother. And Austin just happened to be the one to step up for his brother and catch the blade. It could have been, but I tell you this. And then there's the other thing too, where the friend was under the tent. Carmelo's friend was under the tent, right? And it's like, did you just happen to be under the tent, or were you trying to make sure that certain people was there so that you could let Carmelo know that, yo, he here, bro? I would love to see the text messages. I would love to see the text messages on Carmelo's phone the day of. I would love to see that. Because like I said, it's more to it than they're telling us. It's more to it. And keep in mind, two things can be true at the same time. Two things can be true at the same time, right? Bringing up Austin's history of racism, right? Supposedly. And him saying certain things, right? What does that have to do with that day? What did he say that day that was racist? What did he say that day that was racist that triggered Carmelo Anthony? That's what I want to know, right?
No, angry man don't say off cold stuff every so often. Every week he's tap dancing for Massa. When Miss Purdy thing said that slavery was exaggerated in a hit series called Roots, he co-signed it. He backed her up. He said that the slave masters were actually nicer than black people portrayed them to be. He said the slave masters were way nicer than what black people portrayed them to be. So he agreed with Purdy things when Purdy things said that they exaggerated how mean white people were to blacks during slavery. The hit series Roots actually exaggerated the brutality of white people. Angry man agreed with her. He said, yeah, the slave masters was nicer. Black people exaggerated the mistreatment that came from the slave masters. In reality, the slave masters was way nicer to black folks. That's exactly what he said. The moment he said that, I said, okay, I can't rock with this dude no more. I quit messing with this dude years ago. And the more subscribers he got, the more he kept putting on his tap shoes. Once he seen that being a Sambo would work for the algorithm, he doubled down on it and he never looked back. Ever since then, he been tap dancing. He been putting on his tap shoes, going to work for White Zaddy, pandering to the white community, pandering to white conservatives. He's been doing that for years now. Once Angry Man realized that he can get a lot of subscribers and more views being a Sambo, he doubled down on it. And the brother, I ain't gonna say the brother, he ain't never looked back ever since. Can't call him a brother, but he ain't looked back ever since. Ever since then, he's been running up the algorithm, tap dancing for Massa because it works for him.
That's what I want to know. Because true at the same time. Two things can be true at the same time, right? Bringing up Austin's history of racism, right? Supposedly. And him saying certain things, right? What does that have to do with that day? What did he say that day that was racist? What did he say that day that was racist that triggered Carmelo Anthony? That's what I want to know, right? That's what I want to know. Because when you really sit back and think about it, Carmelo was supposed to go to prison. In fact, he was supposed to go to prison longer than that. He was supposed to get longer than 30 years. Now, some of y'all gonna say, "Well, wait a minute, Angry Man. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that he was supposed to get longer than 30 years?" Because they have a text message of him saying that morning that he was gonna stab somebody. Do you know how much time you're supposed to get if you just happen to text your girlfriend that morning, "Yo, I'm tired of this crap. I'm tired of people coming at me crazy. I'm going to stab out of somebody." And then later on that day, you just happen to stab out of somebody. Do you know how much time you're supposed to get behind that? And guess what? And guess what? It ain't got...
I'm sick of you black folks blaming white people for slavery. Blaming white people for all this brutality. In reality, the slave masters was way nicer to black folks. The white man was way nicer than what y'all portrayed him to be in the hit series called Roots. You was the white man's property, and they took care of their property. In reality, the white man, the slave master, was way nicer to black folks.
Nothing to do with Austin being racist or not. That ain't got nothing to do with it. This crap. I'm tired of people coming at me crazy. Oh, man, Angry Man, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that he was supposed to get longer than 30 years? Because they have a text message of him saying that morning that he was going to stab somebody. Do you know how much time you're supposed to get if you just happen to text your girlfriend that morning, "Yo, I'm tired of this crap. I'm tired of people coming at me crazy. I'm going to stab out of somebody." And then later on that day, you just happen to stab out of somebody. Do you know how much time you're supposed to get behind that? And guess what? And guess what? It ain't got nothing to do with Austin being racist or not. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Mama said, Cellulite said he saw the text and the girl was...
So in other words, Angry Man is saying Carmelo should have got more than 30 years because those text messages prove that it was premeditated. So Angry Man want to see the man. He want the young man to go to prison for way longer than the 30 years that he got. Angry Man said he deserved to get more time because those text messages prove that it was premeditated. Words of the Angry Man, not mine. Make sure that you guys get those lines. I don't know why y'all hating on my platform. I don't know why you got so many people hating and they won't bless the like button. This is crazy. But guess what? I know why. A lot of my haters actually come from our community. That's the unfortunate part about it. Some of them are white people, I get it, but a lot of them are black folks who look just like us. I figured it out. I did my homework.
Do you know how much time you're supposed to get behind that? And guess what? And guess what? It ain't got nothing to do with Austin being racist or not. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Mama said, Cellulite said he saw the text and the girl was supposed to start dating Austin. I knew it. I knew it was something like that. Because what I couldn't figure out is that's one hell of a coincidence. That's one hell of a coincidence that you would wake up one morning and you send your girl a text message, you send your ex a text message The same ex that told the principal that you were stalking her, and you say, I'm on the verge. I'm going to stab somebody and I'm going to lick the blood off of the blade. Who is the somebody? If you're texting that to your girl, it has to be somebody connected to your girl in some kind of way. Now, if they were still together, I would say, well, maybe he was just venting to her. Maybe he was just frustrated and he just vented to her. But no, this is a chick that ain't with you no more. This is a chick that said you're stalking her. So you're mad she's not with you no more. So logic would dictate that this was a lover's quarrel. And young Karmelo was upset about the fact that she was about to start dating Austin. And so young Karmelo allegedly had his friend go to the tent to see if the brothers were there. And once he saw they were there, he texted Karmelo, and Karmelo went over there and sat in the back and started being an agitator because he was looking for the excuse to get busy. See, now it makes sense. One of the things I used to love to do when I was a kid, I used to love putting puzzles together, right? The beautiful thing about a puzzle is there's always one piece that brings it all together. There's one piece, if you could find, like at first it's really hard, you're trying to find the pieces, but there's always one piece. Once you put that piece in there, it just starts flowing. It just starts flowing. And that was the missing piece. That was the missing piece. That was the missing piece. The moment they said, oh, text messages that he sent I said, yeah, I knew it. But look, here's the thing. To everybody watching this, even before that text message came out, y'all remember the shows I did about Carmelo Anthony? Y'all remember? How many times did y'all hear me say, I feel like he planned this? How many times did y'all hear me say,
I'm sick of you black people always blaming white people for slavery, and you don't even know what embellish means. They made the white people in Roots look way meaner than what they was in real life. They exaggerated the brutality that black folks dealt with from the white slave master doing slavery. In reality, the slave masters was way nicer. You black folks don't even know what embellish means. The slave masters was way nicer to black people in real life. They exaggerated the white man's brutality in the hit series called Roots. Then he got to take his cigar. He got to hit the cigar like, the white man was way nicer in reality. They exaggerated the white man's brutality in the movie called Roots. The slave masters was way nicer than black folks.
There's some kind of connection. Here's the thing. To everybody watching this, even before that text message came out, y'all remember the shows I did about Carmelo Anthony? Y'all remember? How many times did y'all hear me say, I feel like he planned this? How many times did y'all hear me say, there's some kind of connection between him and Austin? This is not just some random act of violence. There's some kind of connection between those two. How many times did y'all hear me say that? See, look, bro. I have attention deficit disorder. One of the things that gives me my superpowers is pattern recognition, being extremely perceptive. Like, I knew immediately when that situation first happened, because I had a feeling right here in my gut. I said, something ain't right about this situation. Now, I'm gonna keep it real. Like, you got people that's mad at me because they feel like I'm a traitor. Oh my God, why you got it against this young brother? Let me tell you something. If I genuinely felt like that boy hadn't done nothing wrong, I'd have been one of his number one defenders. But I knew right here. I knew right here in my gut. You can call it intuition. You can call it divine intervention. You can call it whatever. But I had a feeling in my gut that something won't right about that boy. It was something in his eyes. When I saw the photo, y'all saw a dude looking like he was sad. No. What did Tony Montana say? He said, the eyes, Chico, they never lie. And there was something in that boy's eyes. There was something in his eyes. I'm like, yeah, he did that for a specific reason. That was not random. That wasn't no self-defense. And that was, see, now it all makes sense. It makes sense why he had a weapon on him. Because he went there with the intention.
So now he's saying it was premeditated. And this is what I say, man. Black people, like, y'all like, you guys really disappoint me, man. Not you guys in the comment section. I'm talking about the clowns who support Sambos. Now, he's saying that this whole thing was premeditated. So he took a knife to school. So basically, Angry Man is pushing the same narrative that white people are pushing. Carmelo went up there looking for a fight. It was premeditated, and Carmelo took the knife to the track meet. Why? Because he was looking for a fight. In other words, it was premeditated. Carmelo had murder on his mind that morning before he went to the track meet. He woke up and said, I'm gonna go up here to this track meet and pick a fight. Angry Man is pushing the same narrative that white T people are pushing. I'm gonna let y'all hear that again.
But there's this young brother, let me tell you something. If I genuinely felt like that boy hadn't done nothing wrong, I'd have been one of his number one defenders. But I knew right here. I knew right here in my gut. You can call it intuition. You can call it divine intervention. You can call it whatever. But I had a feeling in my gut that something won't right about that boy. It was something in his eyes. When I saw the photo, y'all saw a dude looking like he was sad. No. What did Tony Montana say? He said, the eyes, Chico, they never lie. And there was something in that boy's eyes. There was something in his eyes. I'm like, yeah, he did that for a specific reason. That was not random. That wasn't no self-defense. And that was, see, now it all makes sense. It makes sense why he had a weapon on him. Because he went there with the intention.
So Angry Man is saying it was premeditated. He's trying to convince us that everything was just premeditated, man. Carmelo took the knife to school because he was looking to pick a fight. So Angry Man is pushing the same narrative that white T supremacists are pushing. He's no different. The only difference is he's a light-skinned black man saying that Carmelo took the knife to school because he was looking to pick a fight.
Carmelo Anthony had a history involving fights, disturbing messages, allegations involving his girlfriend, and claims that he had been stalking her. Austin Metcalf, however, had his own history that almost nobody knew.
All right, get the likes up, man. We finna get into Carmelo's history along with Austin's history. Get the lights up for your boy. And right after this video, we're going to get into the Jeff Metcalf's interview to see what Jeff Metcalf had to say about Carmelo not getting this appeal.
Carmelo Anthony had a history involving fights, weapons, disturbing messages, allegations involving his girlfriend, and claims that he had been stalking her. Austin Metcalf, however, had his own history that almost nobody knew about, including racist incidents, repeated use of racial slurs, allegations of bullying and violence toward female students, anger issues, school suspensions, and even an incident where he and another student were suspended after talking about bringing a gun to school the next day. And some of the details were even more extreme than that. Court documents show Austin and his brother were once caught spray painting graffiti that included KKK, Kill All Blacks, Heil Hitler, and the N-word, an incident that resulted in 12 months of juvenile probation. And none of this was shown to the jury. Now, despite the things that we're going to talk about in this video, based on my own moral standards, I can't really say that Austin's death was justified. But this does dramatically change what we know about both teenagers going into that confrontation. So basically, we've gotten a bunch of new information about the murder case involving Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. And this information is actually really substantial because we're now learning a lot more about who both of these teenagers were before that confrontation ever happened. This situation, of course, dates back to April 2025, when Carmelo and Austin got into a confrontation underneath a tent at a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas. Carmelo stabbed Austin during that confrontation. Austin died from his injuries, and Carmelo later argued that he acted in self-defense. The case eventually went to trial. Carmelo was convicted of murder and he was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Now, this new part of the story is extremely important for a few different reasons. First of all, the background of both Carmelo and Austin were intentionally kept away from the jury because the prosecution and the defense had what has been described as a gentleman's agreement. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what that means, just in simple terms, that basically means both sides agreed we're not going to bring up all the bad things we have about your guy as long as you don't bring up all the bad things you have about ours. And the idea is basically to stop the trial from turning into a debate over who Carmelo and Austin were as people, and instead force the jury to focus specifically on what happened underneath that tent when Austin was killed. So the jury that ultimately convicted Carmelo never heard this broader history about either of them. And now that Carmelo is trying to get a new trial, this entire agreement has basically been pulled into the spotlight, and we're finally finding out exactly what both sides have been sitting on. So I want to start with Austin Metcalf, because during the actual murder trial, the overwhelming focus was naturally on Carmelo and his actions. Austin's background, on the other hand, was something the jury and really the public knew very little about, and some of what has now been revealed is pretty significant and might actually change the way you look at this entire case. And by the end of this video, I'll tell you whether it changed my mind. Now, this is everything we know about the past of Austin Metcalf. One of the earliest incidents that has now been revealed dates all the way back to 2018, while Austin was still in elementary school. According to court documents, Austin and his twin brother Hunter were accused of bullying and assaulting a female student, and the incident reportedly led to Austin being arrested. A few years later, in 2021, Austin was banned from attending basketball games for an entire season after yelling profanity at a player. And then as Austin got older, there were several more incidents documented through his school and juvenile records. At some point, Austin and his brother Hunter were caught spray painting racist graffiti that included the words KKK, kill all blacks, Heil Hitler, along with the N-word. According to the court records discussed during the hearing, the brothers were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation over that incident. Records also reportedly show several separate instances of Austin using racial slurs at school, and in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student inside of a classroom. Then in 2024, there was another alleged incident involving a female student. According to reports, Austin got into an argument with her, allegedly knocked her to the ground, and punched her in the stomach. There were also issues surrounding his behavior at sporting events. Austin was reportedly kicked out of a football game and later texted somebody saying, "I was about to beat the out of those kids." And interestingly enough, there was also an incident at a previous track meet. According to court documents, another student told Austin that somebody who wasn't on their team was behind their bench talking wild. Austin reportedly responded, "Kill that MF, aka motherfucker." During the 2023-2024 school year, Austin received in-school suspension twice. Disciplinary records from 2022 through 2024 also reportedly show him using profanity toward teachers, including calling one teacher the B word. At one point, Austin apparently told a school official that he couldn't control what he was saying and wasn't even aware that it was coming out of his mouth. And in 2024, records show that Austin met with a counselor on at least 5 separate occasions regarding his anger and rage during football. There was also another school suspension involving something potentially much more serious. Court documents state that Austin and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day, and Austin was suspended as a result. So when you put all of this together, the picture being revealed now is obvious.
Hit the like button if you haven't already. So you guys see what this is, man. And shout out to this brother right here, man, for piecing all this together.
Very different from what the jury and really the public knew about Austin during the murder trial. And again, some of these incidents are allegations, while others come from documented school records, police reports, and juvenile court records. None of this means Austin deserved what happened to him, and just from my own moral standpoint, I just really cannot justify it mentally in my head that he deserved to die. That's just my opinion. But it does explain why this newly revealed history has become such a major part of the conversation surrounding Carmelo Anthony's attempt to get a new trial. So now that we have the history of Austin Metcalf out the way, let's get into Carmelo Anthony. And when it comes to Carmelo, prosecutors actually had an even larger amount of material that the jury never heard. According to CBS News Texas, prosecutors produced a roughly 75-page filing detailing incidents, messages, and allegations stretching back through Carmelo's teenage years. Some of the earliest material dates back to when Carmelo was attending school in Louisiana. In 2021, Carmelo reportedly told a friend that he had been suspended from school for 3 days after getting into a fight. In the messages, he allegedly said that school officials had warned him that if something happened again, he could be recommended for expulsion. And basically, that means the school was warning him that another serious disciplinary incident could result in him being removed from the school entirely. There were also messages from that same year in which Carmelo and another student allegedly discussed robbing somebody for $300. And as the year went on, prosecutors say there were multiple messages showing Carmelo talking openly about fighting. In one conversation with his girlfriend after he moved to Frisco, she apparently suggested that he should just sit down and relax for a while. Carmelo allegedly responded by saying, "Yeah, and punch people, maybe run sometimes," before adding, "I have to, it's like a priority for me, and I like punching people." In that same series of messages, prosecutors say Carmelo wrote, "When I get mad, I see red. When I get mad, I black out. And when I get mad, I can't control myself." There are also messages where prosecutors say Carmelo admitted on at least 2 occasions to punching girls in the face, along with another conversation where he described hitting somebody so hard that he eventually had to stop fighting. Then in 2023, prosecutors found another set of disturbing messages. In one conversation, Carmelo allegedly told a friend, "I'ma shoot the school up tomorrow," and "with my blick," which is a slang for gun. However, this part is important because Carmelo later
So now they're bringing up all these different things, man, and hit the like button. Let's get some more supporters. Get us some cash apps. Get us some super chats. Where my people at that really love the content, man?
followed those messages by saying that he would never actually do that. That same year, prosecutors say he also messaged somebody about vandalizing a person's house in Austin, Texas, writing that he had a grudge against them. By 2024, the messages begin involving weapons even more frequently. Prosecutors say Carmelo told a friend before attending a party that he would have a gun in his pocket. There was also an exchange concerning the State Fair of Texas, where Carmelo allegedly asked whether the fair had metal detectors. After being asked whether he had the poker, Carmelo reportedly replied, "Yeah, I might have to toss it." Prosecutors also say there were messages suggesting that Carmelo had brought weapons onto a school campus. In one message describing an incident involving his girlfriend going into his bag, Carmelo allegedly wrote that, "My gun and my knife and some other stuff fell out." Authorities also reportedly recovered photographs and videos showing Carmelo holding firearms, as well as other messages in which he discussed weapons. Prosecutors also revealed some material involving Carmelo's relationship with his girlfriend. According to the filing, prosecutors say Carmelo reportedly threatened her in text messages. One alleged message asked, "How many bullets you want coming out of your chest?" And prosecutors say there were also messages involving threats with a knife. They also referenced a message in which Carmelo allegedly talked about stabbing somebody and licking the blood off the blade. Then we get to April 2nd, 2025, the same day Austin Metcalf was killed. At around 1 a.m., prosecutors say Carmelo sent a message saying, "I'm low-key on a verge." And later that morning, only hours before the confrontation at the track meet, prosecutors say Carmelo's girlfriend went to a staff member at Centennial High School and reported that Carmelo had been engaging in what she described as stalking behavior, including allegedly driving past her home and refusing to allow her to end their relationship. Hours later, Carmelo and Austin would come into contact underneath that tent at the track meet, leading to the confrontation that ended with Austin being fatally stabbed. So just like with Austin, the jury never heard this broader history about Carmelo either. They were shown this broader collection of messages, allegations, school incidents, or references to weapons, and that's really the key to understanding the so-called gentleman's agreement. Both sides had information that could make the other teenager look extremely bad in front of a jury. Carmelo's defense had Austin's behavioral history, and prosecutors had roughly 75 pages worth of material concerning Carmelo. So both sides ultimately agreed to keep this broader character evidence away from the jury and make the murder trial about one specific question: what actually happened underneath that tent on April 2nd, 2025. So those are basically the two sides that we have as far as the newly revealed information about both Carmelo and Austin. And as you guys could hear, this was pretty bad on both sides in my opinion. Now here's what I'm going to say about this. I think this new information, in my opinion, probably looks way more worse on Austin. And the reason I say that is because Austin was a person who lost his life. I still don't think what happened to him was right.
Yeah, so there you go. You guys get everything that happened. You see it. All right, so shout out to the brother, man. We're going to give him a shout out. We use the video. His name is Blackie Speaks. He got 1 million subscribers, so he got some people watching him. You know what I mean? So Blackie Speaks, man. That's where we got the video. Let's get into Austin Metcalf's father.
Anthony seemed pretty cut and dried early on. I mean, of course, there was.
Get the likes up. Support the show. I know we got more haters than supporters. It is what it is. That comes with the territory. Let's get to it. Let's see what Jeff Metcalf had to say.
This overlay of race because he was black and the other kids were white. But once you got into the facts, it seemed to be a pretty straight line analysis of a kid who decided to stab someone that he was in a disagreement with to death. The person he was disagreeing with was Austin Metcalf. And you'll remember the jury didn't have a single black person on it, and that was an issue, but the judge had dealt with it and said this case has nothing to do with race, so why would the race complexity of the jury matter? And that is true.
What do you mean it has nothing to do with race? When you study the history of this country, there's a long history of injustice. Black people have a long history of dealing with injustice. So what you mean race don't matter? They should have had at least 2 black jurors, 2 black people on that jury, at least 2 of them. So when you say race doesn't matter, then you're not living in reality. Study the history of this country, and that's going to tell you that race does matter. White people have never dealt with injustice in this country. Black people have. So how could you fix your mouth and say that when your people are not the ones dealing with injustice? Our people have dealt with injustice and racism for centuries in this country. How dare you fix your mouth and say, well, race really don't matter. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, man, you know what I'm saying? Race really don't matter. You sound dumb.
Under the law. That is true under the law. You'd have to find that you were intentionally keeping people of a certain race off for a certain reason, and that didn't seem to be here. Now, though, that judge is gone. Not because of that per se, but because of his extrajudicial comments, which is where he gave an interview after the case, and he was asked if he thought the jury got it right, and he said, yes, whatever they come up with, they got it right, and that hurt their client. And so there's a new judge who's weighing whether or not to grant Anthony another trial.
Anytime somebody tells you race don't matter, they're ignoring the history of this country. And if they're willing to ignore the history of this country, that person is not to be taken serious. Never mind the fact that black people are the ones who dealt with racism and never mind the fact that blacks are the ones who dealt with racism and injustice in this country for centuries. White people have never dealt with that. So never let a white person tell you that race doesn't matter, because racism has never affected him or his people in his country. They never went through that, but we did on the other hand.
And something came out today that is very, very unusual. An agreement between Carmelo's lawyer and the prosecutors to not put information about both boys' backgrounds into the trial. This is very weird because there's now a bunch of alleged information about Austin Metcalf in the air that is very ugly stuff. Imagine if this is your kid, he's gone, and now it's kind of like he's being put on trial. I wanted to talk to his father about it, and Jeff Metcalf agreed and joined to come on to discuss it. Jeff, thank you for taking the time and the opportunity.
Thank you, Chris. Glad to be here with you tonight.
So, you know everything I know and more. What do you make of the developments that we saw today?
I mean, it's another procedural trial hearing, just like yesterday for the judge. Today is for, talk about the retrial, if they're going to grant that or not. Yeah, information did come out. I'll be honest, as a father, I was disappointed, very disappointed in seeing those things. But at the end of the day, it's really about the facts of the case, because I have to relive this all over again. And no matter what the outcome of this is, my son's never coming home. So
I understand, and I think you've been incredibly strong in how you have stood up and what you've talked about and what you've said. And when you say it was disappointing, are you disappointed in what you heard, or are you disappointed that you heard it at all and that it's part of this situation?
just disappointed as a father. I mean, we all want our children to be, the best they can be, and obviously we all fall short. But, to see that information that I had never actually seen before, but I knew at some of the incidents, we had dealt with it at home. But I'm just saying, I'm just very disappointed in what I saw from my sons. And
what do you mean you're disappointed? You the one that taught them. You said watermelon felon. Yeah, how about that? Watermelon felon. Yeah. Where do you think they got the watermelon felon mentality from? They got it from you, Jeff. How you gonna sit up there and say that you're disappointed when they learned their racism from you?
it still doesn't change the facts of the case. And that's what, and this foundation, because I'll be honest, when I left today, I was very angry when I left court. Well, one of the things I'm teaching with this foundation is impulse control, and de-escalation, and to regulate your emotions. Well, it took me 15 minutes today driving home to get my emotions in check. I can understand how people can make a split-second decision, and it can be the wrong one. And it can put someone in a grave or someone in a cell. And that's why this foundation is why I started it, the Austin Metcalf Foundation. So we don't have situations like this. So people don't feel like I feel today. Because I'm telling you as a parent, you don't ever want to feel this pain, and nor would I wish this upon my worst enemy. And to sit there and watch my son be dragged through the mud again today, the same stuff that was said for 14 months, if you want to try to assassinate character, do what you think is right, but at the end of the day, the facts are very simple. He stabbed an unarmed child to death, and that's it. End of story. You can make up whatever color, whatever happened.
My bad. Shout out to Lions Dollars for the 10 on the Cash App. Shout out to Go Gadget for the 10 on the Super Chat. Shout out to Tammy for the 5 on the Cash App. And shout out to Lisa for the 20 on the Cash App. Hit the like button, support the show. We're going hard in the paint like we always do, man.
4, 5, 6 years ago had nothing to do with what happened that day underneath that tent.
What do you mean it had nothing to do? I'm pretty sure that Austin Metcalf's racism had a lot to do with why he never liked Carmelo or black people in general. Your son represents the KKK. He said he wants to unalive all black people. So what do you mean it had nothing to do with the hostility or aggression that he came at Carmelo with? If Austin said, and it ain't no if, it's confirmed, it's not a rumor. He said that I'm part of the KKK. I want to unalive all black people. So his hostility and aggression had a whole lot to do with his racism that day that he confronted Carmelo. You can't tell me no different. I understand how white supremacists get down. Well, technically, Austin saying that he wanted to be a part of the KKK and him wanting to unalive all black people had nothing to do with the hostility and aggression that he came at Carmelo with that particular day. It had nothing to do with that. Man, please, take 10 seats.
Wishes upon my... We don't have situations like this. Please. So people don't feel like I feel today. Because I'm telling you as a parent, you don't ever want to feel this pain, and nor would I wish this upon my worst enemy. And to sit there and watch my son be dragged through the mud again today, the same stuff that was said for 14 months, if you want to try to assassinate character, do what you think is right, but at the end of the day, the facts are very simple. He stabbed an unarmed child to death, and that's it. End of story. You can make up whatever color, whatever happened. Whatever happened 4, 5, 6 years ago had nothing to do with what happened that day underneath that tent.
Jeff, what do you think of the prospect of a new trial?
To be honest, it's I'll say the same thing as I said yesterday. It's 50-50. It's either going to be granted or denied. I'm fine with either one. So I don't put a whole lot of thought process into that. I'm really putting a lot of thought process because this whole week has kind of put me on hold and not being able to work with my foundation. My foundation is my purpose, my mission. This is what's going to save lives. This is what's going to keep this from happening again. I just want to touch other people's lives and change the world one person at a time. If I can save one life, I'm a success. But if I can't, I'm a failure.
Listen, I think that the judgment is in the effort, brother, not in the outcomes. If you're trying to help people and you're trying to help them de-escalate and in the ways that you say that the AMF is going to be about, the effort is the standard, not the outcomes. All you can do is try to make a difference in your.
When white people tell you race has nothing to do with this, you know you can't take them serious. This whole country was built and established on race. White people at the top, black folks on the bottom. This country was built on that. So when they try to convince you, oh, racism, race has nothing to do with it, you know you can't trust that individual. This whole country was built on racism and white people being the upper class and black people being a permanent underclass. This country was built on that. Seriously, if you don't believe me, study the history yourself.
Clearly doing that. Here's something I wanted to ask you, get your take on this. Look, the information about your son, true or untrue, I get why you don't need to hear it in this setting and you don't want to hear it as a parent. I get you. I'm one as well. But the stuff about Carmelo Anthony and what he said to his girlfriend about wanting to stab somebody and the imagery, the fact that they made a deal to not have that come in, rarely is the victim's character relevant. But the defendant's character is always relevant. And I just thought that was a bizarre deal to make. What do you think about that?
Well,
no, the victim character is always relevant. Every time white people analyze somebody black, well, he was a thug, he was a criminal. So what do you mean it's not relevant? We have cases to prove everything that I'm saying. You know how many cases to where a black person was unalived by a white police officer or a white person in general? They would say that this black person was a thug, this black person was a criminal, which justifies the actions of the white person. This is what I mean when I say you can't take these people serious when they try to minimize the racism and the brutality that comes from the white T community.
I wasn't privy. I didn't know it went down. I thought he was going to testify. Right. And so after the trial, it was explained to me, you know, because I was expecting more information to come out. And they said, well, you know, both sides.
White people have used racism and violence to establish dominance in this country. And then they're going to turn around and tell you that race doesn't matter. I'm going to say it again. White people have used racism, violence, and brutality to establish dominance in this country. But then they're going to fix their mouths to tell you that race doesn't matter. My God, white people will say anything to justify their nonsense, to justify their BS. No, man, you know, race really don't matter. This country was created and built on racism. White people use extreme violence and brutality to establish dominance in this country. But let them tell it race doesn't matter.
Agreed not to bring character into it, which to me it made sense. Because really what we're looking at is what happened that day underneath the tent. What they did 4 or 5 years ago, I don't think it has relevance as far as...
Let's be real. White folks did not establish dominance in this country by being nice and fair. That's not how you establish dominance. You do not establish dominance by being nice and fair. White people use extreme violence and racism to establish dominance in this country, 100%. And if you don't believe me, just study the history of this country for yourself.
What's happening today? Because I'll ask everybody out there. I'm 61 now. I am not the same person when I was 18 or 19. I don't know anyone who doesn't grow and learn and create mistakes. Of course. Mistakes are always made, but we try to minimize the damage. Because I told my sons this: you're free to make any choice you want in life, but you're not free from the consequences.
Yep.
Now,
amen.
I forgave
You are right.
Carmelo. Now, I didn't forgive him for him. I gave him for me. So I'll have peace. So I'll have, so
Understood.
I can go on and move forward. This is not going to keep me prisoner. So, whatever came out about him, I'm not trying to draw conclusions. I don't have all the facts, all the stuff they have on him. I do know it was a 75-page document.
Yeah.
And what I saw today was disturbing. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know that. I didn't know it existed.
I understand, and now we know, and we'll see what it will mean. But, Jeff, you'll always have a platform here, and thank you for doing it, and good luck with AMF. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
Yeah, man, let white people tell it. Race don't matter. Oh, man, they use extreme violence to establish dominance, but race doesn't matter. Okay. Race just doesn't matter.
If they correctly go in there and just whoop ass with it, what they get to do. Hopefully they just get the shit overturned altogether instead of a new trial. Just get this thing thrown out. These prosecutors engaged in willful manipulation and evidence suppression so they can get a conviction quota against a young black man. So if they go in here correctly, ladies and gentlemen, they can possibly get the whole case overturned. They can get the conviction overturned if they correctly go in there and just whoop ass with it. So hopefully that's what they get to do. Hopefully they just get the shit overturned altogether instead of a new trial. Just get this thing thrown out. So hopefully they'll.
Shout out to Tammy. I appreciate what you saying, sweetie. You can send what you're saying, and I appreciate you for doing so. Oh, well, race doesn't matter in this country. No, race has never mattered in this country. Words of YT people. Racism doesn't matter today, and race never mattered in this country. America was built on equality.
On their game. Hopefully they're on their game. Somebody said, can y'all hear me? Somebody said they're having difficulty hearing me. I got my fans on because I'm in my office. Can you guys hear me good? All right. Can y'all hear me good? Are we good in here? All right. Let me see. Syntax. Yeah, I saw that. And that whole thing where there were text messages and
listen, man, white people telling you that race doesn't matter is the equivalent of saying that the sky isn't blue on a sunny day. Hey, man, that's the equivalent. White people saying race really doesn't matter. America was built and created on equality. That's the equivalent of saying that the sun ain't. That's the equivalent of saying that the sky ain't blue when the sun is shining. Racism has never mattered in this country. America was built on equality. Man, please.
Yeah, they're going to try to use that when they were saying Carmelo sent text messages to his girlfriend that he wanted to poke somebody and then lick the knife and all that. What they're going to do, they have to use the same defense that they use for Kyle Rittenhouse. Because remember, I love to go back to Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse, that set a precedent. Kyle Rittenhouse, before he was pew-pewing people at that protest, there's video of Kyle Rittenhouse saying, man, if I had a pew-pew, I would pew-pew them damn protesters, because he was looking at some protesters and he was fantasizing about pew-pewing them. And when they tried to bring that evidence to the Kyle Rittenhouse case, they said, oh, no, one don't have nothing to do with the other. Just because he was fantasizing about pew-pewing protesters and he ended up doing it, there's no correlation. So there's no correlation with Carmelo and Metcalf. He didn't mention Metcalf. He didn't say he was going to go poke up Metcalf. You can't say it was premeditated. He didn't know Metcalf was going to go put hands on him.
Right. Saying is, well, him saying all that in the text messages proved that it was premeditated when he never said that he wanted to unalive Metcalf or stab Metcalf in particular.
So yeah, we're going to use the same defense as Kyle Rittenhouse. Yep, they said it's okay for him to fantasize about doing certain things to protesters, and he ended up doing it. That was really premeditated. But Metcalf, I'm not Metcalf, but
And guess what? Case and Allison said that he wanted to put Jose Ramirez on life support. Case and Allison didn't say he wanted to hurt somebody at random. What he said was specifically, he said this specifically. Case and Allison said that he wanted to put Jose Ramirez on life support prior to him unaliving that kid. And eventually he followed through with the plans. Carmelo Anthony was speaking in general. Not once did he say that he wanted to unalive or stab Austin Metcalf. So you can't use that to say, well, this was premeditated. Case and Allison said that he wanted to put Jose Ramirez in a hospital on life support specifically. And he was convicted on reckless homicide, received 10 years. He'll be home in 5. So to make a long story short, Case and Allison in the state of Texas got 10 years for a premeditated homicide. True story. He told everybody in text messages he wanted to put Jose Ramirez on life support. He wanted to hurt him real bad. And eventually he followed through with the plans and unalived Jose inside of the bathroom at school. Case and Allison, the white boy, took a knife to school. Why did Case and Allison take a knife to school? Because he anticipated an altercation with Jose Ramirez. It makes perfect sense.
Carmelo, yeah, it wasn't premeditated. That wasn't premeditated. And I don't know if he said Metcalf. He didn't mention Metcalf. He didn't say he was going to go poke up Metcalf. You can't say it was premeditated. He didn't know Metcalf was going to go put hands on him. So yeah, we're going to use the same defense as Kyle Rittenhouse. Yep, they said it's okay for him to fantasize about doing certain things to protesters, and he ended up doing it. That was really premeditated. But Metcalf, I'm not Metcalf, but Carmelo, yeah, it wasn't premeditated. That wasn't premeditated. And I don't know if he said, that's what they said he said. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how true that is. All right, but let me get the family in here. We got a lot of people in here. Let's get y'all in here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get you in here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Y'all raise the hands. Let me talk to the family early because we do have a lot of people.
If you guys want to add to the conversation, you are more than welcome to pull up. You are more than welcome to pull up if you want to add something to the conversation. Carmelo Anthony never said that he wanted to harm Austin Metcalf in particular. But Case and Allison, on the other hand, told everybody that he wanted to hurt Jose Ramirez real bad and put him on life support. And eventually he unalived him. So clearly that was premeditated. Case and Allison took a knife to school because he anticipated an altercation with Jose Ramirez. And eventually he unalived Jose in the bathroom because he took a knife to school. He executed the game plan. And to make things worse, Case and Allison tried to flee town. He was trying to get a ride to Waco, Texas. After he unalived Jose Ramirez, he was trying to get a ride to flee town, which further proves that he was a damn flight risk. Case and Allison, the white boy, and guess what? You can't say, well, different states, different rules. Nope. Case and Allison unalived Jose Ramirez in the state of Texas. The only difference is Carmelo Anthony is black, Case and Allison is white. Carmelo Anthony stabs Austin one time. Case and Allison stabs Jose Ramirez multiple times, at least 5 times. And guess what? Case and Allison gets convicted of reckless homicide, which is the equivalent of manslaughter. Case and Allison gets 10 years. He'll be home in 5. To make a long story short, Case and Allison got 10 years for premeditated murder in the state of Texas, even though he stabbed his kid multiple times in the bathroom after he told everybody prior to the murder, prior to the homicide, Kaysen said, I want to put Jose on life support. I want to hurt him real bad. You mean to tell me that's not premeditated?
In here. What's up, my brother Michael Warden? War Talk's in here. Let me see. I'm gonna just get random people since y'all not raising hands. All right, let me just do it like that. I'm just gonna get random people in the building. Y'all, I'm gonna just draft you. I just see people in the request queue and I'm just gonna get them on in. All right. I'm just getting in random people. Okay, let's get who is that? Dominic King. Let's get Dominic in here. Dominic. All right. Dominic, what's up, Dominic? Mr.
Hey,
Dominic.
hey, how you doing, Tariq, man? I'm a long time listener, man.
I love that, brother. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm FBA, man. I'm out of Atlanta, man.
Love that. Love it. What's on your mind?
Nah, man. So, damn.
Don't have a brain
Nah, I'm
fart
just showing
live
love,
on
bro.
air.
Goddamn, I came up with a blank, man. I'm just showing
Okay,
love.
we'll
all
get
right?
you back. We'll get you. Well, thank you so much. We'll get you back later. Y'all
Yeah.
stop smoking, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all stop.
I want to show you how much of a Sambo that Officer Tatum is. Now, Officer Tatum ain't gonna say nothing about. He ain't got nothing to say about Austin Metcalf claiming that he's a part of the KKK and he wants to unalive all black people. Look at Officer Tap Dance caping for white tea society and the white tea community. He said Carmelo Anthony is way worse than what we thought, but he had nothing to say about Austin Metcalf. Black people, if you support Officer Tatum, you're part of the problem. Check this out.
This is the craziest thing that I've seen all week.
Later in the morning on April 2nd, 2025, and hours before Anthony would kill Metcalf with a knife at a high school track meet, prosecutors say Anthony's girlfriend reported to a Centennial High School staff member that Anthony was engaging in stalking behavior, to include but not limited to driving by her home and refusing to allow her to end their relationship. Also, in the 75-page filing, prosecutors say Anthony had previously been accused of stealing his girlfriend's phone, and in October 2024 wrote a to-do list for his girlfriend about how to deal with, quote, weirdos, which included the line, say some slick like my boyfriend kill people. There are also text messages where he admits on at least 2 occasions to punching girls in the face. Prosecutors also found text messages from 2021 between Anthony and another student about robbing someone of $300. There are also text messages where Anthony talks about a fight and punching someone so hard he had to stop fighting. In 2023, prosecutors say Anthony told a friend he was going to vandalize someone's house in Austin, saying, quote, I just feel like it. I got a grudge. In 2021, Anthony told a friend he had been suspended from school for 3 days for fighting, saying, quote, they said next time I do some, I get recommended for expulsion. In a text conversation with a friend in 2023, prosecutors have messages from Anthony where he wrote, I'm going to shoot the school up tomorrow with my blick.
The new development to the public, because the defense and prosecution already had this information, but the new development to the public about behaviors and character within Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony, ladies and gentlemen, it is shocking. It is shocking. And it's also slightly disgusting because both of these young boys seem to be terrible role models and examples of what young men should be. Terrible. I know that at a young age, you have things that go on. I know a lot of us did crazy stuff when we were growing up. And if we had cell phones, all of us would be in trouble. However, none of what I have ever done, in part, for the most part, has escalated to this point. I have never said or did anything overtly racist like Austin Metcalf has done, him and his brother. I've never bullied anybody. And I've never brought a gun to a school like Carmelo Anthony has and threatened to kill people and all that, shoot up the school and all this old crazy stuff. Both of these boys are wrong. This is the craziest thing that I've seen all week.
Later in the morning on April 2nd, 2025, and hours before Anthony would kill Metcalf with a knife at a high school track meet, prosecutors say Anthony's girlfriend reported to a Centennial High School staff member that Anthony was engaging in stalking behavior, to include but not limited to driving by her home and refusing to allow her to end their relationship. Also, in the 75-page filing, prosecutors say Anthony had previously been accused of stealing his girlfriend's phone, and in October 2024 wrote a to-do list for his girlfriend about how to deal with, quote, weirdos, which included the line, say some slick like my boyfriend kill people. There are also text messages where he admits on at least 2 occasions to punching girls in the face. Prosecutors also found text messages from 2021 between Anthony and another student about robbing someone of $300. There are also text messages where Anthony talks about a fight and punching someone so hard he had to stop fighting. In 2023, prosecutors say Anthony told a friend he was going to vandalize someone's house in Austin, saying, quote, I just feel like it. I got a grudge. In 2021, Anthony told a friend he had been suspended from school for 3 days for fighting, saying, quote, they said next time I do some, I get recommended for expulsion. In a text conversation with a friend in 2023, prosecutors have messages from Anthony where he wrote, I'm a shoot the school up tomorrow with my blick.
The new development to the public, because the defense and prosecution already had this information.
All right, so let's get back to the main clip. Hey, I need you guys to continue to bless that like button. It ain't nothing. Hey, man, shout out to my man Rick. Rick blessed us with a 30 on the Cash App. He said, new subscriber. I appreciate you, Rick, for the 30 on the Cash App. Continue to support the platform. I promise to bring you real heat, knowledge, wisdom, and information on a day-to-day basis. Let's go.
Smoking. Come on, y'all. Smoking starts again. Hey, beloved, how are you, dear?
I'm so happy to be online with you.
I'm happy to have you here. How are you, beloved?
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. So along
be
with the
nervous.
Carmelo Anthony text, I got
Yeah.
like some footage of Anthony Sinks. He's another brother that's locked up in Kansas getting tortured right now. And I have all of the footage and I just don't know what to do. I know he's getting tortured. And I know
Who's this
that's like
person?
Anthony Sinks.
Who is that?
It was
Who's
another self-defense case that went pretty public. He got into it with a boxer, and he thought the boxer was going to pull a gun, but he didn't have a gun. So Anthony Sinks pulled his gun and he shot him.
Oh, I love TikTok Shop. I love TikTok Shop.
Oh, we love TikTok Shop. Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I'm just
Okay,
happy that you're here.
Thank you so much, beloved. Send me that information and let's watch it. Let's TikTok friendly language. I love TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop has some of the greatest deals on.
All right. So look, we gonna let's do something right here. Check this out right here. Now let's see what this guy had to say.
Was short. Of course, we previously put out days of a hearing in only Wednesday and Thursday. Of course, we are going to have a third day of hearings. The attorneys believe that it will be commenced tomorrow. But
now I want you to see it. This guy, tell me if you think that he helped the case or hurt the case. The spokesman for the Anthony family.
Of course, use a number of alternative events today that is going to make this hearing even much longer. I hope that everyone continue to join on Friday. It is very important that you be here to continue to stand up and stand for the truth of Carmelo Anthony. I'm not going to go back and forward with all of the things that the people and the public heard today through the media, through many. As an advocate in the Generation Action Network, I've had to hold in for over a year. I've had to look at people say my name and say different things while at the same time protecting the case at hand. And my first responsibility was always to Carmelo Sincere Anthony. From the beginning of this case, I said that this case could not be won in a court of public opinion, but inside of a courtroom. And I stayed committed towards making sure that the facts were displayed in the courtroom. Many of us could have held a press conference a year ago, 2 years, a year and a half ago, and said many of those things. But that wasn't going to help Carmelo Anthony. It had to be played out in the courtroom. I have beside me attorney Sean Daria. And all of, I want to just shout out to this amazing legal team. The work that they are doing is amazing. The coalition of attorneys, I can't speak for them. I don't want to indulge into the criminal case too far. But what I want people to know is follow the facts. It's been displayed. Everything that was said in court today, in the facts against Austin and Hunter, it's not some alleged. It's factual. It was submitted to court. It was there during the beginning of the trial. It was accepted by Judge Roach as a factual document. The evidence, there are a number of documents supporting all of that, videos, all of those things. We knew that before June. I cannot speak to the fact of why it wasn't displayed in that trial.
Nah, man, my microphone ain't muted, man. It ain't muted. I'm just letting y'all hear what this guy had to say. Get the likes up. If you're really rocking with the platform, get the likes up. Shout out to all my new subscribers and all of my new supporters. Out with the fake, in with the real. The truth is a bitter pill. Out with the fake, in with the real. The truth is a bitter pill.
The only person that can speak to that is Mike Howard and Toby Shook, right? And at the end of the day, I'm not going to justify the actions. I'm just going to say that the Next Generation Action Network and these coalition of attorneys stay committed towards making sure that the facts are here regarding this case. You heard it displayed today. And I ask that everyone join us tomorrow as we continue a third day of this long journey of being able to fight for a new trial for Carmelo Anthony. Anything else, I'll open it for just brief questions, but I ain't gonna take too many. Can't answer that. I can't speak for attorneys' legal matters. Any other questions? Correct. I've always disagreed with him on that approach. At the end of the day, you cannot, it's crazy how, and I say this respectfully, but I really don't care what no one think of it. Telling black folks to turn the temperature down when we're getting discriminated against is just problematic. And it shows that we have not gotten anywhere when it comes to race relations in this country. We deal with this type of racism and yet bigotry that continue to be displayed in America, right? And so telling us to let's pipe the temperature down when we're only responding to it. It's kind of like this term of race baiting that has been created, right? I don't know about the race, but I feel like the bait, right? And so the reality is what we saw in the evidence today was years worse of racism and bigotry, right? And that's displayed and it speaks for itself, and I don't want to characterize on it, but in regards to their approach to the case, I did not agree with it. Anything?
Damaging information came to light about the Metcalf brothers, but also about Carmelo Anthony. Would that have hurt his case if they did not make the agreement and that agreement?
I don't want to respond to that.
It's not my volume, man. I want to let you guys know the volume is low on this video. Is not mine. Fox 4 News in Texas, for some reason, the audio was very low for this particular video. It's not King Supreme. Pretty sure you guys can hear me loud and clear.
In regards to, because that goes dive into the case, but I think that everything in this trial should have been displayed. That's right. And I think that the jury was owed everything to come to the facts, right? And I want to say this real quick because and I don't speak for the attorneys of this, there was a characterization of 75 pages, right? I've been able to see those things, and if you take a screenshot on 75 page and you put that on the one page and you make all of those things about 50-some documents, it becomes a long document, right? At the end of the day, what you have is more than 30 or 50 full pages of things against Austin and Hunter Metcalf, right? And I ask that when everything comes to light, that people really know the facts about what this case is. Thank y'all, man. I'm going to end it right here. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You heard that?
Say his name. What's his name?
Carmelo.
Say his name.
Carmelo.
What's his name?
Carmelo.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
Say his name.
Carmelo.
What's his name?
Carmelo.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
Say his name.
Carmelo.
What's his name?
Carmelo.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
When
Now, shout out to the sisters out there. Where's all the black men at, man? So this is a prime example of black women riding for the brothers. So when you brothers say that black women ain't on our side, that's not true. We have some that's been brainwashed, but at the same time, we got a lot of sisters that are riders that are coming out in full support of the brothers. Where's the black men at? You got one black man right there and one black man speaking on the microphone. You should have had way more black men out there in support of Carmelo Anthony. Shout out to the black women for coming out to show their full support of our brother Carmelo Anthony. Where's all the black men at? Can't just be black women out there saying free Carmelo. We need more brothers out there with their fists in the air riding for Carmelo. Shout out to these sisters for being riders. Shout out to these sisters for riding for the cause.
do we want it?
Now.
When do we need it?
Now.
When do we need it?
Now.
Let me tell you guys something. I've been to jail before. I've been locked up. I've had black women support me, man. You know, I had a lot of black women support me during my time in need when I'm incarcerated and I can't do a damn thing for myself. I've been in that situation. A lot of you guys haven't been in that situation. When you get locked up, that's when you're gonna see who's really riding for you versus who's not. Everybody gonna ride with you when you're buying them dinners and helping them with their bills and making their life easier. Who really gonna ride with you in your time of need when you incarcerated, you locked up, and you effed up? That's when you really gonna see who's riding for you when you get locked up. Everybody gonna be your friend when you got money. You taking everybody to dinner. You're bringing them to your platform because you got a lot of clout and exposure. Everybody want to ride with you when you winning, but in your darkest hours and your time of need, if you're effed up and incarcerated, down on your luck, who's really gonna ride with you? And who's really gonna ride with you during those dark times? Not many. A lot of people gonna disappear. 90% of people gonna disappear. Everybody want to rock with you when you getting money and you got clout and you can help them gain some exposure. Who gonna rock with you in your times of need? In your time of need? Not many. 90% of people gonna vanish. That's a fact. I've been there and done that. I've experienced that. Everybody gonna rock with you when you winning and getting money.
Carmelo Anthony had a history involving fights, weapons.
That's all I'm saying. Y'all, they think they can get something from it. Because everybody want to be associated with a winner. But in your time of need, who's really going to rock with you? In your time of need, who's really going to ride with you? Not many. 90% of those people that's around you right now, they're going to fall off. They're not going to be around in your time of need. They're not going to be there, homie. I'm speaking from experience. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you what I think or feel. I'm telling you what I know, my brothers. Shout out to the black women who are riders. Shout out to the black women who are real supporters. I got love for y'all. But at the same time, I got to put belt to ass with these black females who are feminists, who are going against their best interests. Same time, I got to put belt to ass when it comes to these black male Sambos and these black male raccoons. I gotta put belt to ass. I'm going in heavy on Sambos, race traders, and feminists, 100% on my platform, man. Get the likes up if you haven't already. The game is coming heavy when you tap into King Supreme in a major way. You already know, homie. We gonna ride. We gonna go hard in the paint about ours, homie. Yeah, man. True story. True story.
Shot him.
Oh, I love TikTok Shop. I love TikTok Shop.
Oh, we love TikTok Shop. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Let's listen to a few minutes of Tariq Nasheed's video. Let's go.
So, yeah, I'm just
Okay,
happy that you're here.
Thank you so much, beloved. Send me that information and let's watch it. Let's TikTok friendly language. I love TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop has some of the greatest deals on all types of clothes, and TikTok Shop has deals on flip flops. They got deals on curling irons. TikTok Shop has so many great deals, and I love TikTok Shop. All right, don't y'all love? We love race trainers. So go to.
If you want me to take you serious, get a real profile pic. Because guess what? I stand behind everything that I say. I don't hide behind no avatar. Everybody knows what I look like. That means I stand on business when it comes to the things that I say. I can't say the same for 90% of you trolls and cowards that be trolling in the comment section. King Supreme is real. Everybody knows my face. You know what I look like, which means I stand behind everything that I say. You cowards who leave comments and talk crazy and you ain't got no profile pitch, you ain't got no profile pictures. You guys are cowards that are throwing rocks while hiding your hand. You're throwing rocks and hiding your hand because nobody knows who you are. It's easy to talk greasy when nobody knows who you are. Will you stand on business if this is the real question? Will you stand on business if everybody knew who you look, if everybody knew who you are, if everybody knew what you look like? If you had a real profile pic and everybody knew exactly who you was, would you stand on business then? That's how you're going to know who's real or not. Anybody can talk reckless and greasy when nobody knows who you are. You're throwing rocks, but you're hiding your hand. That's what cowards do, bro. Anybody can get on the internet and talk greasy if nobody knows who you are, because you can talk crazy and not, you can be anonymous and talk crazy. You're throwing rocks and hiding your hand. I'm not hiding for nobody. I stand behind everything I say, from the streets to the county jail to the penitentiary. I'm going to stand behind everything that I talk about. I don't throw rocks. I don't throw rocks and hide my hand, homeboy.
TikTok Shop and get you some great deals, ladies and gentlemen. I love TikTok Shop. All right, let me get some more people on here. All right. Gotta watch your language here. Gotta watch your language. All right, let's get on Fist. Somebody, Fist something. All right. Let me see. All right. You can't send requests, Isadora? Hold on, Isadora. You can send. Isadora, you can send a request. Send a request. Yeah, just make a request to get on up. And yeah, everybody else is making requests, so you should be able to do a request, ma'am. All right, you should be able to do a request. Let's get Jay Lindsay. Jay Lindsay in the building.
What up, Rick? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, bro.
These are just callers right here, man. I don't really want to get into. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed for doing this thing. But guess what, man? I think I done said enough. If you guys want to add to the conversation, you already know what to do. So I'm gonna drop the link one more time, and if nobody wants to pull up, I'm gonna tap out, because I think I done said I said everything that needs to be said. But if anybody want to add to the conversation, you are welcome to pull up, my brothers, my sisters. King Supreme gonna stand on business always. I don't throw rocks and hide my hand. I don't do that over here. You know what I mean? I don't hide my identity. I'm gonna stand on business each and every time. It's easy to throw rocks, and it's easy to throw rocks while hiding your hand. Anybody can do that. Anybody can talk greasy while hiding behind a fake profile. Got a whole lot of people who do that. I'm not impressed. That's what cowards do. So if you got a problem with King Supreme, listen, this is for anybody. I'm dropping the link. If you got smoke for King Supreme, if you a foundational Black American and you don't like what I'm doing, if you a troll, if you a tether, if you a Latino, if you a white supremacist, if you got a problem with me, if you got any smoke for the king, you're welcome to hit that link right now and express the problems that you got with me. So if you got a problem with King Supreme and the things that I do, hit the link now and we can talk about it. Pull on up and let's have a conversation if you got a real issue with me. Let's go. That goes for people in the Black community, the white community, the Latino community, the tether community. If anybody got a problem with me, you are welcome to pull up right now and hit that link.
Brother Jay, what's going on, sir?
What's up, bro? I'm FBA, man. My family's from Mississippi and Texas, bro. I just want to say I support you, man. And to the Carmelo Anthony thing, I wanted to say definitely I don't agree with the denial. I think his parents made a mistake getting a white T lawyer.
Yeah.
I think they should have made sure they got a Black lawyer. My brother's an attorney in LA, so we kind of talk about the case often. He told me that he thought it was going to get denied, but this last appeal, I think he does have a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get moved to Dallas County.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. What county is it in now?
It's in Collin County.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think he'll have a good chance there because you got more Black people in that county. So possibly. So we'll see. I'm praying for the brother.
Yes, indeed. We're going to keep him in our prayers. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
Yes.
This is T.S. Giselle.
Yes, it is.
Uh-oh.
The legendary icon, the original first lady of FBA.
Not really.
Tariq,
Nope. Not in real life. But go ahead, T.S. Giselle. How have you been?
I definitely was elected. Anyway, I've
Not
been
by
wonderful.
Us, go ahead.
I definitely was. Anyway, you're not about to strip my title from me.
Yeah.
Are you back in the country, Tariq? Because they say you've been over there in Japan.
Yes, I was over in Japan. Yes, I was. And I saw you over there. I saw you when I was there. We had a Godzilla sighting. And I said, damn it, how did T.S. Giselle get over here to goddamn Japan? But what's on your mind? What is on your mind?
I know a man with a faded hairline ain't trying to diss me, okay?
I know somebody with the damn holiday heart wig ain't trying to talk crazy about hair. But go ahead, T.S. Giselle.
I look good, okay? Let's be very clear on that.
All right. So what's on your mind?
Tariq, what happened to reparations?
We still on it. What do you mean what happened to it?
I heard you talk about reparations since I was about to say George Bush, honey, since Donald Trump got into the White House.
We still talking about it. We're still up. Your Democrat handlers, let them know we're still on we're still on reparations business. We ain't left it alone. We're still on it.
I just ain't heard about it. So when we having the next reparations rally?
Well, probably right after the Pride rally that you're having down in Atlanta. But thank you so much. All right. Let me see who else we
Now
got.
you see, Captain Tazariak took that and tried to run with it. T.S. Giselle says she's the first lady of FBA. Now, Captain Tazariak, you knew that wasn't true. You were just clout chasing and trolling. You know damn well T.S. Giselle is not the first lady of FBA. Captain Tazariak understood that, but he wanted to troll to bring more traction to his platform. Tariq Nasheed T.S. Giselle called herself the first lady of FBA. For one, that's a man. That ain't a damn woman.
Let's get some other people in here. We got a lot of folks in here. A lot of people in here. What's up? Lee Pop TV in here. Lee Pop TV. Miss Lee, hop on in, Miss Lee.
And Captain Tazaria really tried to run with that. Y'all let T.S. Giselle be the first lady of FBA. You knew damn well that broad was trolling. But Captain Tazaria took it and tried to run with it. And the idiots fell for it because they lack critical thinking skills. They lack discernment. So the idiots chose to run with it.
What's up, Lee?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Oh my God.
How are you? Is it Lolly?
It's Lollipop TV, but my
Oh,
real name is LaQuisha.
hey, look. Oh, I love that. That's a nice FBA name right
Oh,
there.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
I mean, LaQuisha is an FBA name, but you really think you can make a wife out of LaQuisha? You might be a down hard FBA individual. But if you wiped up LaQuisha, do you think she's going to be a woman? Will she be feminine? Will she be submissive? Will she cooperate with her man and play her role as a woman? In most cases, we know that's not going to happen. Anytime you got a woman by the name of LaQuisha, she's going to be ghetto and unruly. That's the unfortunate reality. I love my people. I love brothers and sisters, but I'm not going to sit up here and lie to FBA people so that y'all can support my platform. We all know that LaQuisha is not going to be anybody's wife. LaQuisha is going to be combative, mouthy, and unruly 90% of the time. I hate to say it, but I got to be real with y'all. I can't sugarcoat this. I got to be honest. LaQuisha is not going to give you no femininity and feminine energy. She's going to be combative, mouthy, and unruly for the most part. I hate to say it, but I got to be honest. You cannot make a wife out of a woman by the name of LaQuisha. It's not going to happen. Now, we got love for FBA because we got love for our people. But to be real with you guys, you cannot wife up LaQuisha. She's not going to play her role as a woman. LaQuisha was not raised to be a wife to a black man. That's the unfortunate reality that most of our people don't want to deal with. Guess what? If nobody else is going to say it, King Supreme will.
you.
Where you from? Louisiana? Where you from?
Well, actually, I'm here in Miami, Florida, but my parents and grandparents from Dothan, Alabama, and Valdosta, Georgia.
Oh, okay. Love that. How's everything out there in Florida?
I mean, it's been pretty good for me.
What you do out there? What you do out there?
I work in a wholesale store for lighting in the accounting department.
Oh, cool, cool. So what's on your mind, LaQuisha?
Well, nothing. Actually, I pressed the button by mistake, but I just wanted to tell you that I love what you're doing. Keep up the great work.
Yes,
and
I appreciate
that's
it.
See, I'm not gonna talk bad about LaQuisha because she pulled up to show love, and I can respect her for pulling up to show love. I'm just saying, when you meet a woman with the name of LaQuisha, you're not gonna get femininity or feminine energy. You're not gonna get that from LaQuisha in the black community. You're just not gonna get femininity and feminine energy. You're not gonna get that from LaQuisha. Unfortunately, you're just not gonna get that from her. LaQuisha is from the ghetto. LaQuisha, for the most part, 90% of the time, represents feminism and single motherhood culture. I got to give you the unfortunate reality. I love my people. I love foundational black Americans, but I'm not going to get up here and lie to you and pretend like LaQuisha is going to make a good wife to an FBA brother. I can't sugarcoat that. I got to be honest with y'all.
Got it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. All right, now who is this playing music?
In the accounting department.
Oh, cool, cool. So what's on your mind, LaQuisha?
Well, nothing. Actually, I pressed the button by mistake, but I just wanted to tell you that I love what you're doing. Keep up the great work.
Yes,
and
I appreciate
that's about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, dear.
Oh, golly, man.
And then we'll get Wando. What's up?
All right, man. I think we didn't add enough. I don't want to go through all the calls. I think Tariq Nasheed said what he needed to say. We didn't touched on all of the damn points. Peace, love, and blessings. Giving you gain to keep you from stressing. It's your player partner, King Supreme. Make sure that you like this stream in a major way. We be cooking in this thing, man, on a daily basis. It is your chef. It is your player partner, King Supreme. Like this stream. I got to get up out of here, you guys. Salute. Subscribe to the channel. Keep supporting one of the realest FBA brothers on this platform. I don't sugarcoat nothing. If I got to tell the truth about our people, I got to tell the truth about our people so that we can move forward. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to pander to you guys to get your support. If you don't support me for being real, it is what it is. I'm not going to pander to you in order to get your support. I'm not going to pander to you in order to get your support. King Supreme ain't going to do that. If you don't support me for telling the truth, then it is what it is. I'm not going to pander to my people to get them to support my platform. I'm not going to do that, because pandering to you hurts you more in the long run. Pandering to you will hurt you more in the long run. Telling you the truth will wake you up so that you can do better moving forward. Pandering to you would make you feel good in the moment, but it's going to hurt you in the long run. And unfortunately, too many brothers in our community do that. They'll pander to black women because it makes them feel good, and black women will support them for their commentary. But in the long run, pandering to black women hurts them way more than it helps. That's the reality that most people don't want to talk about. When you pander to black women, it makes them feel good in a moment, but it hurts them in the long run. Pastor Jamal Bryant is a pander bear simp who panders to black women to get their money every Sunday. I'm going to say it again. Pastor Jamal Bryant panders to black women to get their money every Sunday. In other words, he's selling feel-good medicine to black women. It makes them feel good in the moment, but it hurts them in the long run. That ain't no different than a narcotic. When you take some drugs, you feel good in the moment, but it hurts you in the long run. So these pastors are similar to drug dealers. They tell black women what they want to hear to make them feel good in the moment, but that nonsense hurts black women in the long run. That's the same thing that drugs do. When you take that dope, when you take them drugs, you feel good in the moment, but it's hurting you in the long run. So if you're selling black women feel-good medicine and you're not being honest with them and telling them the damn truth, you're doing way more harm than good. And that's the unfortunate reality, that we got way too many pander bear simps in our community. Telling black women the truth, listen, when you tell black women the truth, they might feel bad in the moment, but it's going to help them in the long run. When you pander to black women, it makes them feel good in the moment, but it hurts them in the long run. That's the difference. Listen, homie, anytime you take drugs, you're going to feel good in the moment, but later on, you're going to deal with withdrawals. You're going to deal with the negative effects of taking drugs, but it makes you feel good in the moment. When these black men online, and I told you guys, the content creators have become the new pastors, which is why they never hold the black woman accountable for things that they need to hold her accountable for. They tell black women things to make them feel good in the moment, but it hurts them in the long run. When King Supreme comes on, it might hurt your feelings in a moment. But if you really listen to what I'm saying, it's going to help you in the long run. It might hurt in the moment. It might not feel good in the moment. But when it comes to longevity and reality, it's going to help you in the long run when you take a dose of this bitter pill. I'm not selling you feel-good medicine. I'm trying to make you better for the long run. I'm not trying to make you feel good in the moment, but harm you in the process when you think about longevity. Anyway, man, it's your player partner, King Supreme. I got to get up out of here. I don't pander to black women. I tell them the truth. Unfortunately, black women love to support platforms that never hold them accountable, but that commentary and that content hurts them in the long run because there's no accountability. And if there's no accountability, there's no room for self-improvement. 100%. King Supreme, I got to get up out of here, y'all. Peace, love, and blessings. I'm gone. Holla back at your boy. Well, Scoop, you got to know this, man. A lot of these people, we got a lot of haters in our community because I'm better than them. I got more gain than them, and I'm telling the damn truth. So unfortunately, you have people who don't want to support the platform or hit the like button because they don't want to hear the damn truth that I'm kicking. They don't want to hear the game that I'm spitting. They want to be pandered to. They want to flock to these channels where black men just tell black women what they want to hear, but they never tell them what they actually need to hear. That's that's the unfortunate reality. I'm one of the realest in the game. It's King Supreme. I'm gone. I'm the truth. King Supreme is the damn truth.